Cowboys trade pitch brings five-time Pro Bowl receiver back to Dallas. This year's NFL trade deadline is quickly approaching on November 5th, and the Dallas Cowboys are one team that should be looking for help in the coming weeks. America's team hasn't looked special throughout a 3-2 start to the season and could benefit from improving on both sides of the ball, especially in the wide receiver room. With Brandon Cooks on the injured reserve, CeeDee Lamb and Jalen Tolbert have been the Cowboys' only reliable receivers. If team owner/general manager Jerry Jones truly wants to end the franchise's Super Bowl drought in February, it might be in his best interest to add another wideout to the mix. Fortunately, a proven playmaker could be available ahead of the deadline, and it's someone who Dallas fans are more than familiar with. CBS Sports' Josh Edwards pitched on Thursday that the Cowboys should acquire Amari Cooper from the Cleveland Browns before the deadline. Cooper, 30, spent parts of 4 seasons in Dallas before moving to Cleveland in 2022. We reached bye weeks in the college football season, so CBS Sports has released its updated top 100 prospect rankings for the 2025 NFL Draft. While some available playmakers might be too pricey for the Cowboys, that isn't the case for Cooper. The ex-Alabama product is only carrying a $8.74 million cap hit after restructuring his contract during the offseason, which is more than affordable for a Dallas team with $23.6 million in salary space remaining, per Spotrac. The Cowboys still own the majority of their draft picks for the next 3 years, which should give them enough capital to acquire Cooper. Considering how the veteran is on an expiring contract, the Browns would likely be happy to get a day 2 pick or 2 in return rather than losing him for nothing in free agency. The Cowboys acquired Cooper from the then Oakland Raiders in exchange for a first-round pick back in October 2018. He went on to play 56 games in a Dallas jersey, turning 429 targets into 292 catches for 3,893 receiving yards and 27 touchdowns. Cooper has since recorded back-to-back 1,000-yard campaigns with the Browns, however, his production has been down this season. The ex-2015 first-rounder is averaging a career-worst 41.6 receiving yards per game while only catching 42.6% of his targets. Perhaps a reunion with the Cowboys could help Cooper get back on track. He already has a connection with quarterback Dak Prescott, which produced some of the duo's best performances to date. With a motivated Cooper back in town, the Cowboys could potentially look like legitimate Super Bowl contenders. Ezekiel Elliott makes opinion extremely clear on Cowboys playing time. Ezekiel Elliott and the Dallas Cowboys enter their Week 6 showdown against the Detroit Lions with a 3-2 record this season. While Dallas' star-studded offense ranks number 10 in the NFL through 5 weeks, its rushing attack ranks second to last at 82.0 yards per game, better only than the New York Jets. Elliott, 29, signed a 1-year, $2 million deal in April to return as a veteran leader in an otherwise youthful Cowboys running back room. After a season-opening performance in Cleveland of 12 touches for 49 yards and a touchdown, Elliott has largely been invisible in the first month of the season. On Thursday, longtime Cowboys beat reporter Clarence Hill Jr. offered an update after speaking to the 3-time Pro Bowler running back. Cowboys running back Ezekiel Elliott confirmed he has talked to the coaches about his role and remains dumbfounded by his lack of opportunities at least as red zone back, Hill wrote on X. Elliott has not topped 8 touches or 32 scrimmage yards in a game since Week 1. On the season, he has compiled just 36 total touches for 134 yards, averaging a pedestrian 3.3 yards per carry. Teammate Rico Dowdle leads the Cowboys in carries, 54, rushing yards, 221, and first downs, 14, to date. However, Dallas has not broken off a run of longer than 13 yards this season. Elliott's last season averaging more than 4.0 yards per carry and surpassing the 1,000-yard mark came back in 2021. Cowboys ripped for Davante Adams' trade stance. Is Jalen Tolbert big time? Dallas Cowboys offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer has praised Jalen Tolbert for his game-winning touchdown reception against the Pittsburgh Steelers. The Dallas Cowboys offense needed players to step up in Brandon Cook's absence against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and Jalen Tolbert answered the call. In a gritty and tough 20-17 win at Acrisure Stadium, Tolbert was the shining light in the passing attack, leading Dallas in catches and yards while hauling in the game-winning touchdown. Tolbert finished his night with 7 catches for 87 yards, showing that he can step up when called upon. Regarding the fourth-and-goal touchdown pass, offensive coordinator Brian Schottenheimer says that most aren't aware of how tough the catch Tolbert made was. "It wasn't exactly how we drew it up on paper, but again, just a ton of credit to the protection unit," Schottenheimer said. "For JT to come across, I don't think enough people understand how difficult that catch was. Dak Prescott made a great throw, but to be able to hold that ball, extended away from his body with a really good safety, Deshaun Elliott coming there and hammering down his hands, for him to finish that catch is a big-time play in that situation." Dallas Cowboys WR Jalen Tolbert after catching the game-winning touchdown against the Pittsburgh Steelers. Is it big-time enough to keep the Cowboys from making a trade for a bigger-time receiver? Critics continue to harp on the Dallas front office for its disinterest in trading for the likes of disgruntled Raiders star Davante Adams, which we've explained at length simply is not in the plans here. Indeed, a Fox Sports columnist calls Dallas' position ridiculous, unfathomable and unfortunate. We're going to counter by insisting that while Dallas' blow-it-up/remodel plan might be wrong, it is not unfathomable. Rather, it's quite easy to understand. The Cowboys want their 2024 cap room, right now about $25 million, to carry over into 2025 in order to launch a remodel at that time, starting with the signing of Micah Parsons. In short, the Cowboys would rather spend on Micah for 2025 and beyond than spend on Adams for 2024. That's it. Ridiculous and unfortunate, maybe. But hardly unfathomable. So here the Cowboys are, with CeeDee Lamb as the number 1 guy and, with the game on the line, Tolbert and Dak made the play when they had to, suggesting that Tolbert might be a number 2. While we see the finished product on the field, the practice reps between Tolbert and Dak helped build the confidence to call that play in the biggest moment of the game. "They've probably repped that throw 1,500 times, Schottenheimer added. "The one at the end zone now, it doesn't always hit in the exact spot you think it's going to hit, but it was cool to see him, Tolbert, reward not just himself but the team with a huge play and a big moment." With Dallas teetering, getting a win on the road and moving on to the positive side of the ledger at 3-2 is good for the team's confidence, and they have Tolbert and his big play to thank for slaying the Steelers.